To prepare for today's contest, I did have to use a lot of tricks and little helpful tips for me to remember my poems. The one that I used the most is I would print out my poem, and then I would recite it and record it on my phone, and then I would play it back and read my poem and listen to my recitation and highlight everything I messed up. And then I would go back and specifically look at that because it really helped me to hear it and see it in my own words.
What I have learned from Poetry Out Loud this year is just understanding text so much better. Since I've had to delve into the text just performing it, when I'm in my English classroom now and we get to talk about these things about the text and what we were reading, I'm so much better equipped for the conversation because of Poetry Out Loud.
I would tell a first-time Poetry Out Loud contestant to enjoy themselves. It goes by really quickly and the experience is really fun. Even though it's a competition, just enjoy listening to other poetry and getting to experience public speaking and learning from it. So enjoy it and learn from it.
I prepared for today's contest by just reciting my poems a lot. For my friends, my family, my teachers, anyone I could find to recite to, I would sit them down and recite. And as far as memorizing goes, I just read the poems a lot to internalize them, kind of went over them until they really stuck with me.
My advice for a first-time Poetry Out Loud contestant would be don't stress out. Stress is going to be your worst enemy in this competition, so if you are stressed, use it to your advantage. Use those emotions to make you feel more confident with your work.
If I could give any advice to a first-time Poetry Out Loud contestant, it would be definitely to just believe in your ability. You got here for a reason. You are talented, and that confidence is going to show on stage, so just believe in yourself because you have this.
Okay, so from Poetry Out Loud this year, I think I learned a lot about who I was as a person, and honestly that I like talking in front of people because I'm naturally a very shy person. I hate getting up in front of people, but this entire experience I've learned that I really like talking to people.
Well, I chose my poems because I wanted to go with a theme. I always want to choose the theme. Last year in my school competition, my theme was nature, so this year the theme is the human soul.
Well, this year I've learned quite a bit from Poetry Out Loud. I'm not the best public speaker, and so it's taught me to really come out of my shell and be able to talk to people and be able to explain poems to people just by saying them.
I prepared for today's contest by going through the poems with teachers, asking for their advice, and of course my parents and anyone that I could really get. And I memorized the poems by, I first just listened to it a bunch of times, listened to maybe if there's someone else who did it, listen to it, kind of get it in my head, go through what I think the poem means line by line, really get down the meaning, and then just wrote memorization just again and again and again.
I chose my poems basically off of what I felt like related to me and what I felt like when I recite them, I can get the most emotion out of them. And I think that's really important when you choose a poem. My favorite poem would have to be my last one, my third one, which is What I Learned from the Incredible Hulk. It is probably super funny, and it's like a really cool poem. Like anybody can just recite it. You don't need to have that much emotion. It's just super funny.
I chose my poems by reading through all of the poems, the first few lines of all of the poems on the website, and from that choosing the ones that intrigued me the most and I found the most interesting. And then from those I narrowed it down by those that spoke to me the most. And my favorite poem is so hard to choose. It's like choosing a favorite child or something. It's just, I love them all. They're all beautiful in their own ways and all speak to me in different ways.